Yeah, yo, I'm back. The number one G. Here we go. Yo, what's up? We're here with Jeremy McGinty, man. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here, man. You're one of the dudes that I was really interested to talk to, man, because a lot of stuff that you do, I just want to give you your flowers because, dude, you're doing a great job, man. I know that you do the community thing, right?
Yeah.
What is that called?
So first of all, thank you for having me on, and thank you for thinking about me. When you hit me a couple nights ago, I'm like, man, let's get it. But the community side of it is called Village Community and Recreation Center, for short, or abbreviated as VCRC.
Okay.
And that's we're building a rec center in the neighborhood that we grew up in, right? Downtown Buckeye, right there on 5th Street and Century, right in the middle of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, dude. Now, so how did you get that started, bro?
So
how did that come about?
Crazy, right? This started in 2020, and George Floyd happened.
Okay.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
Everything just snowballed. It seemed like the U.S. was just going on downhill. So with all the civil unrest, it turned into black versus white, cops versus black people.
Yeah.
It just started snowballing. And my aunts always had a vision of putting something in the neighborhood where the kids can go do stuff, right?
Yeah.
Productive, because we know how that goes. An idle mind, devil's playground. And so with everything happening, of course, everybody's glued to social media. We're locked in the house, can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's all over George Floyd getting killed is all over the news and all over social media. And I start seeing, people I grew up with, people I'm kicking it with, people that I'm my neighbors, people right down the street. Oh, we need to do something about this. We need to do something about this. We need to change the narrative. We need to do this. We need to do that. Everybody talking on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but nobody actually putting any force behind it or any substance behind it, right? So I got with a bunch of people, built a board real quick, though. We built a board just like that, and then got it submitted. Got the patent to the name, submitted to the feds for a nonprofit organization, and from there is history, man.
See, I like that, man. I like that because a lot of people have great ideas.
Yep.
Right. But they don't put it into work.
Exactly.
And so that is the difference, right? Yep. Is putting it into work, man.
And I mean that is I think that is what separates, a lot of us is we have all these great ideas, people be in the shower and come up with an idea, and by the time they dry off, they just just vanishes. But that's the biggest thing, man. Write it down and start putting some action behind it.
Yeah. My Google was trying to, like, it hears me, man.
And
it's trying to pop up. I'm
sure,
like, I'm not trying to talk to you, man. I'm not trying to talk to you. I have a Google phone, dude. So it does all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know if it's good or I don't know if it's bad. That's what I'm trying.
Well, that's gonna be everywhere now with the AI booming, how it's booming.
Hey, Julie, go sit down. It's my heathen dogs, man. They like to get into stuff. But yeah, no, dude, with the whole AI and everything, dude, it's so crazy. And my Google phone actually can answer calls for me and talk to people.
What?
Dude, it's so cool. It is so cool.
What? Yeah, no, show me that.
Yeah, no, it's so cool because like the call will come in, I'll just press it, and it's like you have an assistant. It's like, hi, this is record line, and I'm and it's like, what is this about? Like really cool, dude. It's really cool.
Crazy.
But at the same time, it's Google.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like it's just too much, man. Too much. Like they're taking over the world.
Yeah,
here.
100%.
So,
100%.
because they own YouTube now. They own everything. So, but back to what you were saying though, dude. That is the key. a lot of us talk about things that we want to accomplish or things that we want to do for the community, but you're actually, it came to you and you said, I'm gonna put this into action, you know, and that is the key, man. I believe into when God gives you certain things, like it's for you to take charge.
Yeah.
If something is bugging you, and this is what I tell a lot of people, that if something is bugging you, you know, like, oh man, somebody should do something about this. Like, well, that's God gave you that.
Yep. That's up to you to do it.
You.
Yep.
Like you're the one that should be doing it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so you actually listen to whether it was your voice, whether it was God's voice, whatever it was, you actually listen and you put it into action.
Yeah.
You know, so many dreams and so many aspirations and so many things are lost because we don't put them into action.
Exactly. And so with VCRC, it kind of took on a life of its own, right? So pre-pandemic, you know, if we would have started this pre-pandemic, we want to build about a 2,200 square foot facility, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on, you know, what the lot looks like after it starts building. But pre-pandemic, we were looking at about 230,000. We started this in 2020, like I said, start hitting up some builders and some investors and some construction workers, and then by the time we looked up, man, we were almost at $500,000.
Oh wow!
Price of wood skyrocket. We're like, all right, we're gonna go all steel frame. Price steel skyrocket. We're like, man, could we do bottom cinder block? Price cinder block sky. So we were just stuck all the way around. Yeah, and so like we do a summer tutoring program, which is going on right now.
Okay.
We're in the women's club on 85.
So you guys are trying to actually get your own building.
Yeah, so we're going to get our own rec center, our own facility.
But right now, you guys are at the women's
club, and we're kind of floaters wherever God is leading us. But we started our first year at the Chamber of Commerce tutoring program. Then the second year, we were at Faith, Hope, and Love Community Church, and then third and fourth year, which is this year, we've been at Buckeye Az Women's Club. Man. And they've gracious enough to open the doors, man, as long as we're paying for the lights and the water. And, you know, we do the tutoring program for a month, 6 weeks, I think, month and a half. That is no expense to us. And then it just took on a life of its own, man. You know, when homeless people are out there needing something, they'll go to whoever and they'll say, reach out to VCRC. We'll get on the phone with them. A lot of times we can't help, but we do have the resources to hook them up with, you know, the resource center or the senior center or something like that. So it's definitely working out.
That's cool, man. That is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And then so I mean, you do so much though, dude, because you also do the dancing team, right? Which is the United Dance Team or United Dance Crew.
United Dance Team, yep. And just to be clear, I do not do anything with this. I'm the vice president, so my wife runs all that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And she has that. I mean, that's the second business that we have going. She has that going 100 miles an hour all the way vertical, straight up. You know what I mean? People are hitting her left and right to come dance here.
Yeah.
Here's a small donation. Come dance here. Here's a small, all the way from you name it. Of course, we're going to start in Buckeye, but we're all the way down Tucson, Coolidge, where you know UDT is out there.
So for people that are just listening, what he's talking about is his wife. So your wife created it.
Yeah. His
wife created this dance team, and he's part of it. But his wife created it, and they take young women.
Yep.
Right.
And both boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
Yep.
And they do these creative dances, and they showcase it. And it's pretty cool because I've seen some of them, and I have a friend that she was in it. You know, her daughter was in it, and you guys just take these kids, and I think it's good. You're taking kids with both things that you're going on out of these streets, or just out of them having nothing to do, to all of a sudden having this that they could do, having the recreation center that they could go to, you know, and do some things, or the dance team that they could join, right, and just you know, express themselves through dancing, right, which because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of kids could be going through different things in their life, and that gives them an outlet to express themselves.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Music does that, basketball does that, football does that, but dancing does that as well, man. So that is really cool, man. But your wife started it.
Yes, my wife started
and
it.
She runs it.
And she runs it. Yeah.
You just kind of help
I do
out.
all the background. I don't even help out with a lot of the dance or any of that, but I do kind of the background. Dance. No, I cannot dance. I won't even get out there and try, man. I'll be tired in the first 2 minutes, ready to go sit down somewhere. But yeah, so I do all the administrative side of it, and same thing. We built a board, and we have a secretary and a treasurer. So my wife's the owner president, and she kind of runs the show. She has a few choreographers that stepped in, and they taken a lot of the charge so that she can actually step back and look at the business side of it, because a lot of people start a business and you're good at it, right? If you bake cakes, you're real good at baking cakes. Start this business, the business starts booming. You have no idea how to actually run the business side of it.
Yeah.
So then you got to hire people, and you got to find people you can actually trust. And while all you wanted to do is bake cakes and give them out to the community, sell them to the community, now you have a whole business side of it. So that's kind of, I do the administrative or the business side of UDT, and my wife is getting to a point now. Same thing. She actually started UDT in like 2014 or 15, right? But it was a different name, and we finally got it a nonprofit. She was doing it without a business for a long time.
Yeah.
A bunch of people were just meeting up, dancing, and turned it into a nonprofit.
And see, that's that goes back, right? Because a lot of people can say, well, I don't have the business aspect of it. I don't have, the LLC, or I don't have the 501c3. I don't have all these things. But it's like, you just need to start doing it.
Yeah. And that's where we fail. I would say, especially in the Black and brown community, but in the poor or the non rich neighborhoods, that's where we fail, right? We have, I could tell you, the best football players, basketball players, baseball, the best rappers, singers, dancers, all come from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then they end up just down a different path or lose that motivation. And that's why you see, people on the corner breakdancing the best of their abilities, probably as good as Michael Jackson, and never made it to,
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of talent. I mean, just like I tell some people, there's way better rappers than I am. You know what I'm saying? But are you dedicated to the craft?
Exactly.
There's even like Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan wasn't like, if you go back in history and look at even some of the street basketball players around his area, they were way better, but then they got into drugs, they got into different things, and so they never made it to the NBA.
Exactly.
But the thing about Jordan, he was committed, dude. He would be out there, even like Kobe, right? He'd be out there before practicing, hours at a time, before and after the game.
Mamba mentality.
Yeah, so that's the key, man. But so you have that now. Is the recreation, is that a 501c3?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got it. We did that from day one, right? I want to say October 16th or 19th or something.
Yeah.
We got it filed and went through all that, went through all the legalities of that through the Secretary of State. And once it was right back, man, we were pushing. Little did I know, I'm like, all right, cool, let's go get $100,000 grant right off the bat.
Yeah.
The feds, or people that actually give grant money, they're like, nah, you're brand new, give us 3 years. You know what I mean? And so just so make sure we're trustworthy. But now we start applying for grants. We're 3.5 years old. We'll be 4 years old in October, applying for grants. But now it's to the point, man, people are like, hey, are you guys doing this, and this year? Here's $300. We would love to come out and help. And that's kind of what shocked me. I thought a lot of it would be just on our own building up, and then we would have to get the grants from the government and stuff like that. But people are actually coming out. Not only are they, donating to us financially, they're actually coming in, doing the work, getting their hands dirty, helping with backpack drives and getting the garden going, and they're I
actually saw the garden, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's looking good, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's looking good, man.
Thank you.
I like it, man. I like it.
That's a lot of work, man, but it's starting to pay off. And one thing I say is everybody wants to garden or talks about it, and then when it gets 120 degrees out there, nobody wants to be what I mean? No, even I don't want to be out there sometimes.
No, we gotta go. Yesterday was a record, man, and a record high in Arizona for people that are watching around the world. It was 117 yesterday, right? But it felt like 130, bro.
Man, it hit all of it. Yeah, I came out of outside from work, man. I was like, what is this? I'm gonna have to stay a little bit longer until it cools off.
Dude, you get from your house to the car.
Yeah.
And you're just sweating.
Just drenched.
You know? And your car has AC. But like my wife's car, it has leather seats.
Yeah.
And in Arizona, my God.
No, thank you.
Oh my God, you're sweating, dude. I'm in there. The AC's cold, but it's been sitting like a sauna, dude. And I'm just sweating, dude. Just sweating. You know, your back is all hot.
Yeah.
You step on the seats and it's like, it's just
you gotta put a towel over them or tint the windows all the way blacked out or something.
You touch that metal piece of that
seatbelt. No.
Oh God.
No,
dude, you touch that thing, you're branded for life.
Oh yeah, for sure. You gotta stop by urgent care on your way home or something.
You're branded, dude. You're like a couch.
Yeah, that's crazy,
dude. Yeah, no, man, it's too hot for that, man. I was at over the last weekend. I was up in Prescott and because trying to get out of the heat, right, for Father's Day and everything, and my girls took me, and we got up there, man, and like. It said it was going to be like 85, 86.
That feels good.
You know, and out here it was like 110, 115. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, let's get away. And we went away and man, it felt good. Man, I still got a sunburn.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I still got I came back at night, dude. I was red like a lobster, dude. I'm like, why am I so hot?
Really?
I looked in the mirror. I'm like, man, I'm a little red. Dude.
But it felt good up there though,
It felt good, man. But it's still Arizona.
Yeah.
Like you still got to respect it, man.
Yeah. It's still Arizona. You know?
And so, but yeah, man, how many kids do you have?
I got 5 kids, ranging from 17 down to 3. She'll be 4 this year.
Man, you're a blessed man.
Yeah, definitely.
How many?
Blessed and busy.
Yeah, dude. That is that is busy, man.
Yeah, running around.
Now, do you think Buckeye is getting better? Or do you think it's from when we were kids being raised in Buckeye, right? You know, I know I got into a lot of bad stuff because I didn't really have the programs to do anything, right? Exactly. And so do you think it's getting better now? Or you think where do you think it's at?
So I have mixed feelings on that. So from a city standpoint, I would say Buckeye is getting better.
Okay.
Because we're starting to get the money, you know what I mean? We're actually starting to get the infrastructure, even though every road you drive on in Buckeye right now is under some kind of construction. And
that's everywhere in Arizona, man.
You're detouring a mile and a half away. But so from a city standpoint, I think that we're getting better. From the old town of Buckeye, the community, the feel of that everybody knows everybody. Back then, I didn't know how I felt about it, or I guess I took it for granted. Now, just from that community aspect, now we're so far away from that where neighbors don't even know neighbors, and you know what I mean? Back then, you could walk down 5th Street, and your mom would be getting a call by 8:30 saying, "Yep, I just seen Jeremy walking down. It's about to be curfew." You know what I mean? So that community side of it is definitely gone. We still have that. There is still that in downtown Buckeye, but not as much. There's so many new people down there. But if you think about downtown Buckeye versus the new Buckeye, Verrado and Sundance and all those communities, it's just so many new people down there. Downtown Buckeye still has the original people that that are from they're older now, and so it's still there, but I think we lost that community feel going from
the small town feeling.
Yeah, going from
we lost that a little bit.
50, 60,000 booming up to 120,000 in the span of 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We lost that, and that's what VCRC wants to do, is bring that all together, man. We do little block parties. We do. We used to call them Party in the Park when we were able to do it in the park, but just bringing the community out. We're not celebrating anything.
Yeah.
There's not a holiday. Bringing the community out. If you sell little muffins, we get the city umbrella business license where you can sell your muffins. You know
Yeah.
So that's
Nice,
what we got to try to bring back and make sure we don't hit that big city. Nobody knows anybody type of deal.
No, that is true, man. I definitely do miss the little town feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's a lot of good things happening.
Yeah.
Especially like what you're doing, and then you also have the your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is called what is it called?
Homegrown and delivery.
Homegrown and delivery.
Yep.
Now, and what do you do?
So I grow and sell produce because we'll be here for 4 hours if I start in on that one. But I grow and sell produce, no chemicals, no pesticides,
Nice.
no hormones.
Yeah.
What people think of and call organic.
It's not.
We're better than organic. We're all natural.
Yeah.
Like legit. I left the garden today. We had 3 nice sized, decent sized squash growing. Or you look under the bottom of them, 2 of them were ate through by either squash bugs or worms. Oh. And so that's just going to happen with the way we
because you're not spraying
nothing.
Pesticides and stuff.
We might spray up apple cider vinegar if the ants or
if
they get too bad, but other than that, man, we're all natural. We do feed them, the phosphorus, the magnesium, and we do feed them, but we don't. There's no additives at all, 0.
Nice, man, nice. Yep. Hold on, we're gonna do a couple. What's up, guys? This episode is brought to you by D1G Apparel. D1G Apparel is a faith-based clothing company created by yours truly, D1G. We got them faith hats. We got them the Lion of Judah shirts. You know what I'm saying? We got the Faith and Believe shirts. We got them Jesus Water shirts, the Game Over hoodies. And yes, we got them Believe shoes. That's right. Your boy designed some shoes. Go check it out at d1gapparel.com.
Yeah, why? I wonder why.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Fly Products. Let's Fly Products is focused on a natural, organic way to help you be the best you and live a healthier life. Guys, go get your lion's mane. I do that. I do the lion's mane. It's a supplement, and it's great for your focus, your mental clarity. It's just great for your brain. It'll give you a brain boost. I also take the chaga. It's good for your health. They also have this thing called cordyceps. Cordyceps is good for working out. They also have some great coffee with a combination of the lion's mane and the chaga in it. So it's not just a coffee. It's a healthier coffee with great benefits. So go check them out at letsflyproducts.com. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be considered a replacement for any legal, health, tax, financial, doctor, or any professional advice. Live. All right. So we're back. No, this is because they probably heard me whisper. So I used to have a ton of people on live on Facebook, and they started me kind of censoring me, dude. Bless you. They like it's so crazy, dude. Yeah. And I see it on different platforms. They started doing that, and that was around 2020, dude, because everything was being censored. Right?
Yeah.
And so all these platforms are like, oh no, you can't say that. Oh no, you can't do that. Yeah. And so they started suppressing. And so it's like that. It's a battle. I don't think that's going away. I don't think it's going to get any better.
It needs, because it started because we were talking about Twitter, but it just needs to be opened up, the freedom of speech clause or whatever you want to call it, all the way. And of course, you got the bad side of it, right? You got the racists, you got the weirdos, you got the. But I'm currently disputing a video on one of the apps right now where I talked about certain stores. I don't want this to get censored.
No, that's why we have a disclaimer.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I just played that disclaimer. It's like, hey, this is just for entertainment purposes only.
So a bunch of the stores, the big box chain or the big chain stores are their produce is getting real weird, right? There's people on the app showing they're bending the bananas.
Yes.
The avocados,
dude.
And then now I seen one last night with the watermelons. That one tripped me out.
Yeah.
I did a video on this about 2 weeks ago.
I've tasted some stuff. And I asked my wife, like, where did you get this? This is not real. This is not real. And it wasn't as bad as those, as the ones, if you haven't seen that, there's like some weird stuff going on with produce. You just look it up. Just look it up.
And it's we know it's real bad, right? Because usually produce without a rind or a hole or something you got to peel, that's the easiest affected, right? You can put your chemicals on that lettuce. Yeah. You know, you're eating lettuce. But now it's to the point where bananas, where you got to peel oranges and watermelon, that means it's injected either from a seedling or it's made strictly in the lab. There's only one or two possibilities.
No, there's some weird stuff going on with a bunch of our foods, man. You know, and I don't know if you've heard this, dude. And but they were trying to, so the government was trying to make it illegal. And this is backwards. So follow me, because this is so backwards. They were trying to make it illegal for them to put inject any type of produce with the vaccination. Yeah. And so, and I was like, wait a minute. So they're trying to make it so that means they could do it now. Yeah. So they're able to do it now. Yeah. And the government, some of the government, not all of it, obviously, and they shut that down. So it's like, okay, so wait, they shut that down. That means that they can pretty much put vaccinations in your produce without telling you. Yeah. And right now it's legal.
So I have a video up that I had to dispute. It would, instantly. I posted, it would instant get hit. Had to dispute it, won the dispute, and it's up right now. Can't remember the state, so I'm not gonna guess, but if you all Google it, it's out there. A state actually passed it on the state level where they'll start with tomatoes. Yeah. They separated it by saying, this is your organic, this is your regular tomato, and this is your tomato with the vaccination in it. And so my mind automatically went to the COVID vaccine. Yeah. But it didn't stop there, right? They did all vaccines. You name it. Their justification is, well, kids don't have to get shots when they start kindergarten because they have blah 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 blah.
Come on, man.
If they eat this certain amount of food and fruit. But the thing about it is, and I don't want to go off on like a conspiracy theory rant or nothing, but if this passed a vote for them to do this, at a country level, at all the United States, it doesn't stop. Right?
No, it doesn't.
Once they put that one in there, which I don't know why people would even think that's even okay.
It definitely.
I'm not anti-vaccine or anything, but I don't want to grab a tomato. And have and then
have a vaccination.
Yeah, well, then how much is too much, right? How much is, if you eat 40 tomatoes and it has whatever vaccine in it, did you just overdo it? Yeah,
and are you going to have adverse effects? Because everybody, their body is different to vaccinations, to different things, right? To even to medicine, right? Some people are allergic to certain types of medication and things like that. So how much of an adverse effect is going to happen in somebody's body when they're taking vaccinations through a tomato, through your produce? It shouldn't happen.
And so when this I watched one of the hearings, whatever state this was in, I watched whatever the House or the Senate, whoever was kind of putting it out there, and this has been happening, right? This wasn't anything new. And that shocked me. I've never heard of anything like that, like putting it in your food. And it wasn't in secrecy, right? They were talking about it.
No, it's open.
It was,
it's open, man.
Shocked me, man.
Dude, it is. And So when I used to tell people stuff like this, they look at me like, "Oh, you're weird."
Yeah,
Like, no, dude, this is out in the open.
Yeah, it's out in the open.
And it's so, it boggles my mind that all the information to knowledge is out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
God has given you all the information, especially in today's age.
Yeah,
we have Google at our
Yep.
fingertips, and and all the everywhere,
Yep.
right? Everything is out there. Now in the future, who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows what? And that's what you were saying about free speech. Everything should be.
yes,
I believe that. I believe that too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I don't like your certain politics,
Right.
or if I don't like what you say, but I think that everybody should be able to say what they want to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not be filtered through any type
Yep,
of
yep.
social media or
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Because then we're just like, we're just putting one single narrative.
Right.
And that is very dangerous. When
Well,
you're
what
just
happened is, and we seen it the most with the Trump and the Biden, that whole whatever
Yeah.
that they got going on, right? It became echo chambers. So, Facebook, filtered and deleted posts that had anything to do with Trump, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes good and bad. I got a
Yeah.
7-day or a 72-hour suspension because I put a picture of both up there in 2020, and I was like, these are the candidates that we have to choose from.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is literally what I said. I got 72-hour suspension, but because
just for stating the fact.
yeah, because Facebook deleted or filtered Trump's name, it created echo chambers, right? So there was nothing for me to bounce off of. If I said, "Oh, I love Joe Biden and this and that," all my comments will fill with everybody that loved Joe Biden. The
Yeah.
people that didn't like Joe Biden and said Trump 2020 or whatever they're saying, those got deleted off Facebook.
Yeah.
So I go down my this is hypothetical too,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I go down my comments and I'm like, oh, everybody loves Joe Biden. Now the same side, if I said something about Trump, everybody down those comments would be Trump 2020. Yep, Trump's the greatest.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it just created these echo chambers because of all the filtering and the deletion and the censoring that social media did. You don't get a chance to bounce ideas off of each other or bounce,
No, and I think, I think around 2020, all that the suppressing of that, only hearing the one side, it was so crazy because you only heard one side.
Mm-hmm.
And you would get bombarded with just that one side.
Yeah.
And I saw that because certain news that I would look up, right?
Yeah.
I would only get that one-sided story. And then I would have to really work hard and mess up my algorithm
Exactly.
to get the other side of the story.
Yeah.
And the problem is now is that we have news just feeding the one-sided story instead of just being a news. That back in the day, they just gave you the news.
Gave
you
the
make
facts.
your own mind about what it is,
Yep.
but here's the news, here's the facts. But now they're just like one-sided, like, oh, this guy's bad and this guy's good, and it like, oh, and this is bad, and this, like, don't give me your opinions. Just give me the facts. Just give me the facts. Let me create my own opinions. Let me figure this out. Just give me the fact. And that's what journalism was back in the day. But now it's not.
Yeah, it's all opinion based now, man. There's very few people I listen to. A lot of this sounds absolutely crazy, but a lot of when I hear it from the first time is usually from TikTok or Instagram. If I'm hearing it for the first time, and then I'll go through and do the research or whatever have you. But if I'm hearing it from a cable news show, I'm automatically thinking it's fake right off the bat.
Yeah.
No, it's just because it's just so one-sided. That is, there's no way we can be believing this stuff.
No, and it's crazy because, and I think, and like when I was talking to a couple friends and they're like, oh, what do you think about this TikTok thing? And I was like, I get it. Like, I understand that they're taking all of our data, but so is everyone else.
Exactly. So
is Apple. So is Facebook. So is Google. You already gave permission to the whole government to take your data.
Exactly.
So there is no privacy. Okay. So what's the difference with TikTok? And they're like, oh, well, yeah, it's from China. No, I feel like they were the only ones giving us some of the real stuff. And they want to filter through that. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
it's and I think that when does that go up in January? I think of 2025.
yeah.
But it got me because when they said we're taking TikTok, I'm like, because I just got on TikTok about a year ago.
Yeah, me
built
too.
up a decent following, and of course everything I do is surrounded by the garden community.
Yeah,
but I'm like, oh man, they're getting rid of TikTok. That sucks. Back to Instagram. I'll probably get my Twitter going back.
yeah.
And then I seen they put in unless, so they want this Chinese company to sell their portion of TikTok, or they'll take it away. That's when I knew.
Yeah,
capitalism is at it again. It's all about the money. And so they went so far away from you're still in the data of American citizens to just sell your portion of
yeah.
Because TikTok is making a lot of people rich right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people rich.
And information is coming crazy on there.
And that's my thing, man. When I hear it now and it's coming from TikTok, the whole Ukraine and Russia war, we seen that almost live, right? We seen that. I mean, people posting, you hearing bombs and helicopters in the background, and they're right there in Ukraine.
Yeah,
that was wild, man.
No, dude, social media has done crazy. I don't know if it's. I feel like it's both good and bad because we have everything is so accessible.
Yeah.
News is so accessible.
Yeah.
Like, for kids, it's just that's all social media.
Yeah.
Which can cause a lot of anxiety and
that's
certain things, right? So there's some bads, but there's also some goods. Like you can get your news right away, and it's not one-sided. It's not like you're trying to tell me some lies, right?
Yeah.
Because it's everywhere. And so I feel like it's a lot of goods and a lot of bads. And the way I tell people, I try to use it for good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I try to use it. And so it's like, not that I want to be on every platform. Because dude, it gets to be too much.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like I got a Facebook, I got a YouTube, I got a Twitter, I got a TikTok. I'm like, what?
Then you have to start answering comments. It does start getting a lot.
To me, it's like a little overwhelming, right?
Is. Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like, okay, well, the devil's doing all this for bad.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a lot of OnlyFans and all that stuff, right? That came out.
Right.
And, and it's like, so we got to do it for good. And like you're doing it for good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to teach people about homegrown produce and how to do things and bring the community together and you know what I'm saying? Bring the kids together.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Right.
I feel like sometimes in social media, we're fighting some evil with good, and it's a battle sometimes.
Well, and a lot of it is I'm not trying to become an influencer, right? Sorry, I'm almost sneezing.
You need to teach.
Yeah, I'm not trying to become like a social media influencer. I legit want to teach people and help people out because I'm not sure why COVID didn't teach us anything, but how terrible was that? How bad did that feel going to the grocery store and couldn't come back with groceries, right?
Yeah.
So, we went on a panic, right? Remember the tissue craze? Went on a panic.
People fighting for toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, people, we got smart about it.
I don't even go to the stores, bro.
I
didn't. Listen, I'm so lucky that I got a good wife, and she's blessed me. And I'm spoiled, bro, because I don't hardly go to the store. Yeah. If you see me at the store, know that I need help. I'm lost. I don't know where things are.
Off the bat,
And if I don't see you at the store, it's because I'm like this. Okay, I think I need to go to aisle 10.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like a horse with these things. But no, dude, I don't even like going now to the stores, and especially in 2020, because everybody's like.
That was a mess, man.
You have a mask. I don't have a mask. And oh my God, people were fighting, and it was like teams against.
So what we started doing is we started making our own butter. I got a couple videos about tallow, which is pretty much like the old Crisco, the cooking grease. We started making our own everything. And that's kind of the route that I teach on my Instagram under Homegrown and Delivery, or my Facebook. We need to get back to that. We got so spoiled with the supermarkets that it's a detriment to us. If anything, if they said today, there's a new virus out, everybody locked down for 15 minutes.
Man, dude.
Everybody, they're gonna hit the stores super hard and go crazy again.
Yeah.
And that's the downside to.
So would you call yourself a prepper? Do you
Yeah, I ended up ready. I need
to be more of a prepper, bro.
I'm not to the point where if somebody came to my house, they would look at me crazy, but I'm almost there, man. I got stored canned foods. I filter my own water. And I actually met a lady because when I sell the produce boxes, the lady buys the produce boxes every week or every couple weeks. And she's a legit doomsday prepper.
Really?
I mean, her garage is, she's legit. All the way to the point where they do have a bunker up north. If they can make it up north, they're gonna be safe. Yeah. She's a little far. I don't want to say anything bad because in case she watches the podcast, but she's a little bit too far.
Yeah, too far of a prepper.
But she started in like the early 90s.
Oh, wow.
And she has canning her meat.
Yeah.
She buys the vegetables for me. She does her eggs, the whole 9 yards.
Dude, that is crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. She's a little bit too far, but I'm at the beginning stages of it.
Man, in my mind, I kind of wish I was more of a prepper because, but at the same time, I'm like, listen, man, if something happens, either if there's a nuclear bomb drop, we're
done. Yeah.
Okay. Especially here because we have nuclear plants.
Yeah.
If somebody just drops a bomb at that nuclear plant, we're all dead. Yeah. We don't have a chance to get out.
That's a fact.
It's within a second.
Yeah.
So I feel sometimes, man, if God's gonna do it, I don't know. If it's my time to go, then it's my time to go.
Yeah.
And and I don't know. But I do kid around with my friend. He's building his property. Build that bunker, man.
Yeah.
I've been telling him, I was like, you building that bunker for us?
Yeah, I don't know how true it is, but I've been seeing it all over social media. The billionaires are starting to build theirs or finishing up building theirs. My prepping is kind of not end of the world or doomsday or zombie apocalypse, more of if there's another shutdown.
Yeah.
Because we did pretty good as far as the tissue wise, because we buy the big thing anyway. But we hit up my mom. My mom hit me up. We hit up my neighbor. My neighbor hit us up. We kind of did that. But just another shutdown, man. We were so not prepared for that in 2020.
Just so newspaper works too, man.
Yeah. Newspaper work. A leaf. I'll go down to the garden and get an eggplant leaf or something.
A leaf. Oh, man. Dude, when I was little, bro. So I used to live in Mexico. When I was little, like my first couple years. And dude, we were so poor, bro, that we didn't have toilet paper. We had newspaper, and you crumble it up.
That's crazy.
You crumble it up, bro,
and keep crumbling.
You crumble it, and then that's what you would use, bro. And it was so bad, right? We had dirt floors, and we had an outhouse. And in the summer, bro, I kid you not, I would go into the bathroom. I would come back out. I lost like 10 pounds, dude. I'm dehydrated. I'm about to pass out in the bathroom, bro.
That's crazy.
Like that's some old school stuff, right?
Yeah.
But there's places in Mexico that are still kind of like that. They're so poor, man.
100%.
I think we take for granted all the blessings that we have in America and stuff. So even though we talk about how bad things get, we're still far from a lot of craziness out there in the world, right?
And I still, obviously, I'm biased, but even with all our flaws and especially what we got going on politically, man, this is still the greatest country. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, man.
Me neither, man.
Especially with all these wars going on and slavery happening so much. It's slavery is running rampant right now.
Let me bring this to you, okay? Because you said slavery. I have a theory.
Okay.
And I've thought this for a very long time, and now it's getting around. Other people are thinking the same thing because I've heard a couple other people mention it on TikTok and stuff like that. But do you think they brought Black people from Africa all the way over here? Okay, because that's what I thought. I'm like, let's go back a minute.
Well, you're not the only one that thought that.
I think they were here already,
yes,
bro.
We were here. Well, Columbus wrote it in a diary that there are, I don't know what the actual quote is. You'll have to go and look it up. So don't quote me on it, but it was something like, because remember, he thought he was in India.
Yeah.
He said the Indians are dark, just like the ones in East Africa. So we were here. They have objective evidence of arrows that were arrows made of arrows with gold tips that were only found in Africa, found right here. There's no way you brought over millions and millions of people.
See, I never really believed that whole story, man. That whole spiel, because it just seems far-fetched, right? They brought all these tons of people from over there in these little crazy boats when they could barely even get through with 1 or 2 boats, right? And like he had failed before, right? And when you would travel, sometimes you would lose a whole boat.
Yeah.
I mean, these weren't the best made boats.
So yeah, I definitely believe Black people were here because Africans sailed around the world before the Spaniards did. Or all during the time, but definitely Africans were sailed around the world. But let me ask you this question: where are all the slave ships? Where are the the artifacts or the pieces of this slave ship? There's none. They would be in with Smithsonian Museum, or they would be somewhere. There's like
right?
Nothing.
Something. All we get is little paintings in a book.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like.
Yeah.
You know, and I never really listen. I work on common sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't work on what you're telling me. I look and see like, okay, does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I think if Americans and people would just use a little bit more common sense,
you would know.
We would figure a lot more things out.
Yeah, 100%.
And so to me, that and not to say that the Native Americans weren't here.
They were here.
I believe
also.
they were here also.
Yep.
Just like the Aztecs and Mayans and stuff were in the South in Mexico, right? They were here too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and I mean, Mexico was part of America at one point, and until conquerors divided everything, and this is mine. But so I think there was Black people here. I think there was Indians here. I think there was Mexicans here, right? And I think they just took them for slaves. I don't think they brought them over. It just doesn't make sense.
So there's a mixture. Man. They brought some people over here. They didn't bring millions of people over here.
Yeah.
And have you seen? I don't know if you've seen the picture where they have like the slaves like laying down row by row, and they're on all the bottom of the ship, and then. You've never seen that picture. It's like thousands of slaves on this ship.
Yeah. So
nobody revolted. Everybody just laid there. Yeah. For a month and a half.
For a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months.
Nah, definitely, man. That's a huge controversy in the Black community, man. Because the stigma or the phrase African American, right?
Yeah.
That's on our census. That's on our job applications. That's on our you name it. Sometimes the option of Black isn't even on there, and I know people that are check. I'm not that much against it or into it. I'll check whatever's available. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You can look at me and see I'm Black. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be like, oh, you might be Caucasian. Maybe you're Caucasian. But yeah. So I know people that won't check African American. I know people that won't check Black. You know what I mean? So that's a big one in the Black community. I do believe we were here though, and Christopher Columbus stated it before he went back to Spain. There's people over there. Whatever the exact quote, there's people over there that are as dark as the ones in East Africa. So
no, for sure, man. I think, I think of a lot of our history, and obviously it's been mistold, and we've been lied to a lot within our history. And they probably kept a lot of things closed to whatever fit the narrative. You know what I'm saying? And so, and you can see that. I mean, you can definitely see that. I just like to use common sense. I think like, how is that possible? Like, how?
And it's hard.
They're like, oh, we're gonna build you a good, because the one of the narratives that they said, right, is that they told the African Americans that, oh, they're gonna come and they promised them land and this and that, right? And that's how they voluntarily came in the boat.
No.
But it's like, come on, bro. Like there was nobody there with common sense saying, oh, let's trust this guy. Like everybody's like, okay, cool.
Let's just
go. Let's go.
Like and then another one, and I don't know what side or where this came from, but a bunch of the nations in Africa, a bunch of their kings and queens sold their people into slavery. So if you were to sell millions and millions of people into slavery, you're not going to have anybody to be a king, queen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not going to have anybody in your country. So it is a lot of. But how do you? Because we learned about this in school. My kids right now are learning on a very high level about slavery. We went into when I was in school, man, that we were watching Roots, and we went into way deep about. Had me feeling uncomfortable. Of course, it's like 3 black kids and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the way we were taught is the way you explained it. That they went over there, they got a bunch of Africans, enslaved them, came all the way back to and built the U.S. And back then, I'm like, man, that's crazy. All of them went over there, and all these slaves came over here, and then, like you say, you start thinking critically or with a little common sense. You're like, there's no way.
There's no way. Because there's no way. Like I get it. Some people can fool me, right? Everybody is foolable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like once you realize something, like, oh no, they're bringing us over here. Like you're gonna revolt.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
And not everybody's just willingly.
Right.
Or, you always have skeptics, even if it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You have people that are skeptics.
Yeah.
You can tell them, hey, this is the cure for cancer.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You always have skeptics.
Yeah.
You know,
and they don't talk about so talk about revolting. They don't talk about a lot of the revolutions that the enslaved people put up. Right? We hear you ever heard of Nat Turner? Nat Turner's one. He was a revolter, and he went off. I want to say they got a movie on Netflix, but he went off. He was killing slave masters, wives, kids. He went off, but he had some steppers behind him. But it was hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of enslaved people that will revolt on a daily basis. We just don't hear about it, right? Because it's that that mind frame that the master was the master. And I even heard this guy on live the other night saying slavery wasn't that bad. And I didn't stay on his live long enough because I knew it would just be a bunch of people screaming.
I think a lot of people just do stuff like that just to get attention, right?
Reaction,
and
because there's no way. I mean, and he was young. He was a young kid, so I'm sure unless he, read up on it. But if you're just listening to it, like again, that echo chamber just from one side, then you would know. But it's a lot of it going on. It's running rampant right now across the world. The Congo is going through it very bad with slavery right now.
I feel like the narrative is I think in every situation you get your good and bad. So even in slavery, I think you had a lot of white people against it. Now you probably don't hear about that, right? And and not to say that there was a lot, but I guarantee you there was people out saying, hey man, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? I think in every walks of life you're gonna have people that see things and it's like, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so you have good people, you have bad people, and you have evil, you have good, and it's a battle. With everything.
So in the beginning, because we're such a capitalist country, in the beginning of it, it was all about money, right? That's what it was. You were getting free labor for all this cotton, tobacco, and certain type of wheat or grain. And as generations start going on, these little white kids were actually being raised with these little black kids, you know what I mean? In some cases, the master was having babies by one of the slaves. So they were actually being raised with them. And when you're a little kid, you don't see that, right? You're pure. So this little girl or boy is my age. We're going to go play around and the blah, 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 blah.
Meaning there is no racism as a little kid.
And then as you get older, man, I remember
it has to be taught.
My great grandma died when she was 105. So she's seen it. Not her parents were slaves, but she lived in camps, right? When they first came to Buckeye from Arkansas, same with my grandpa, they lived in camps. They got paid a lower wage, obviously. They got paid, but they had their own house. They can go to certain stores and go to and from. But my great grandma used to tell us stories about her parents telling her, don't talk to that white lady. Don't look at, her brothers. Don't look at the white lady like that. Don't stare at that white lady. You put your head down. If they're walking towards you, you get off the sidewalk. You know what I mean? They were just conditioned over all those years to think about that and to be this way. And white people are bad. White people were thinking black people are bad. They're lazy. They're blah, 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 blah. Then you get to my great grandma, which was 105 when she died. And then my grandpa had several white friends. You know, my grandpa, and then my uncles had several. So it just took generations to, and then, me, my brother and sister are born, and there's no way I'm gonna look at this guy and see he's white.
Yeah,
Put my head down and walk around the sidewalk.
yeah.
I'm gonna say what's up to him, and we're gonna go about our day.
We're all equal,
strike
man.
up a conversation, or you know what I mean. But they were just so conditioned to think like that it took on both sides. Black people were conditioned to think like that. White people were
And you know
conditioned
what
to
though,
look like
man?
that.
I think and that's a great thought, because I think that a lot of people are conditioned to think poverty in the same sense, right? They're grown up this way and they think they're never going to get out of that situation. They think, and that's all they were raised, right? Because I hear that a lot, like, oh, how can I own my own business? Because I was raised this way. I'm always gonna do drugs. I'm always gonna sell drugs because this is the condition that I was raised in. I think that's the same mindset, and it takes generations to break that off. I feel like or for somebody in the family to say,
to break it, because I believe truly in generational curses, right? I was on that same path, man. My grandpa, heavy drinker. My dad, heavy into the streets.
I knew your dad. I knew your dad.
So I followed that same path, and then I'm like, man, this is crazy. There's no way. Number one, it's exhausting. People don't know, being in the streets, and for anybody listening, younger kid, being in the streets is exhausting. It sounds fun, and these rappers make it sound, but these rappers ain't even in the streets, man. It is exhausting. It's too much to have. It's a lot going on, and you're always just up and moving. And
you always got to watch your back, man. It's not a life, man.
But it is, man. I had that same thing. This is how it is. This is how it's always going to be. I'm going to raise my kids to know this is how it is. They're going to raise their kids to know this is how it's always going to be. And it just repeats the same cycle, man. We definitely have to
break it, man. So you believe in God, right?
100%.
And so
there's no doubt about it.
Is that's the power that gives you to change your generation, to change your family?
Yes.
And the routine, is that what gave you that mindset? Or
well, so obviously I grew up Baptist, right? Christian.
Okay, so you grew up going to church.
Grew up going to church. Man, I played the drums until I was 20 something years old, until I got too grown and too on my own, and I knew what was going on in the world and how to navigate it through. But I grew up going to church, man. Bible study on Wednesdays, choir practice on Mondays, church on Sundays, the whole 9 yards. It was no
for hours.
There was for hours. It ain't like church today. It ain't like church today. You there all night and fall asleep in school if you want to. But I grew up going to church. But so on the opposite side of that, my dad was in the streets, so I also grew up in the streets. So I had my mom dragging me to church. I couldn't wait to get out of church so I can go hit the streets. You know what I mean?
Okay.
On any given day, you name that day, if we had church, I couldn't wait to get out of church so I can go get in the streets. Well, I gravitated because of the excitement and the money to be made and what was going on. Once you get on your own and your mom can't tell you what to do anymore, I hit the streets hard. That was a quick lesson learned. That was a quick lesson learned for me once I was out on my own, because if you ain't hustling, if you ain't robbing, you're not making money. There's no, either you gotta eat or you're gonna be eaten. There's no in between. There's no, I'm gonna just chill here in this comfortable place while you're in the streets. So I've always had God in.
So what pulled you back in? So what
my daughter, I had a daughter, right?
You had a daughter.
Yeah, my first daughter. I was 21.
Okay.
End up getting my job, and that was it. That was it for me. I didn't want to be.
The birth of your daughter made you realize that, hey, something has to change.
It has to change, because I didn't want to be that in and out father. I didn't want to be that in the streets, have a possibility to get killed, have a possibility to go into prison for the rest of my life. My daughter not having that male example. And that was it, but it was a no brainer, right? So I already had it in me. It wasn't. I didn't battle with myself. I didn't fight it. It was, I need to be this way. This is what it is. All right, I need to go get a job, straighten up, get a house. Blah, blah, blah. There wasn't no. It didn't take a lot.
See, I wasn't raised in church, man.
Right.
So, it was different for me. why is it going to the floor here? It was it
went straight down.
It went down here. Like, there's nobody here, man. Cameraman, come on, get it together, cameraman. Technology, dude. It just went straight to here, right?
Yeah.
I was like, there's nobody there, man. It's supposed to recognize faces, so I don't know. Maybe it recognized this mouse or something.
Yeah.
But no, dude. Yeah, dude. I wasn't raised. So I was raised Catholic, and like every Catholic, when you're raised Catholic, you just say you're a Catholic because you're Mexican.
Yeah.
But you don't really go to church,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man. So that it was a whole dynamic. I remember my friends going to church. They would invite me to church. You know, Jermaine, Benji. You know, that's your cousin, man. Are they both your cousins?
Both my cousins. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Both my cousins.
Man, yeah. So and they were always a good influence on me. I'll tell you that, man. I just saw Benji yesterday.
Yeah.
And
he's down here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
He's down. I don't know for how long.
Yeah.
You know, he stays busy, man.
Moving,
Shout out to BJ.
Yeah.
Shout out to Benji. Yeah, man. And they were always a really good influence on me. I turned to the streets when we got to like around high school. My freshman year, they switched me, and I ended up being in lunch with the seniors and the in the juniors and seniors, right? Yeah. And so I started hanging out with all the gangsters and the cholos and stuff, and that's how I got into gangs and started partying, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But I was already going in a spiral, man, because it was just I didn't really have a family. I didn't really have nobody to say, hey, you could do something good with your life. You can, you know what I'm saying? Just a positive role model, like what you're doing. That's why I really respect what you're doing, because you're driving all these kids, and some of them, you know, they could have fathers, they can have
for sure
family, but some of them don't. You know what I'm saying? Me and my wife, we used to be youth leaders at a church for like 5 years. And we took a bunch of these kids and we used to show them different things, take them to concerts. So you see it. You see the difference and the impact, especially in kids, man. That's a beautiful thing to do.
For a fact.
But yeah, man. So I wasn't raised in church, but when I started going to church, they were on it.
They
were on it. Like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got to be here Sunday morning, and then you go home for like an hour for lunch. Come back. You got to come back.
What? We went to church. That was just Sunday school.
No, we got revival tonight. I was like, I can't do anything, man.
Man. But now that I look back on it, I'm like, man, that took up so much of my time. What I hated at the time, because I wanted to get back in the streets. But you know, there was some times when I was in church and they'll raid a house and all the homies would get arrested. I'm sitting in church. That was a blessing. So
God had saved you, man.
So I would get to the house. By the time I get out of church, it's yellow tape up and the house is empty. What happened to everybody? Oh, they got arrested. And so I'll be at home and wait for them the next morning to get released from jail. But there was a couple of times, man, sitting in church, or like you said, a revival night, or that's gonna go till 11 o'clock. I missed a couple of parties, people getting shot up, people get, you know what I mean? So like I said, that's me being raised in church made it easy for me to just leave that street life, leave that behind.
No, dude, it's crazy, man. It's definitely crazy. Well, I'm glad you made it, man. I'm glad that you're here to tell your story.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
And to do all the good things that you're doing, man. It's definitely a great thing. Keep on doing it, man. Sure. I appreciate you. I see what you're doing. So I give you your flowers, man. I see you putting in the work and doing everything. And you're not there to brag or say like, hey, look at me. What you're just doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And so it is noticeable. And I feel like God notices all those things.
Yes. Yeah.
Because sometimes we want to quit doing good. Yeah. You get to that mindset like, man, I've been like, I just want to, sometimes, like, hey, I'm a human being. Yeah. Like sometimes people make you angry and stuff like that. You just want to knock some teeth out, man, to be honest. Yeah. But you got to keep on doing good and what God has put in front of you, and know that you have a mission and you're on that mission.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
most definitely, man. And I see what you and your wife got going on with the live stream. You're going to reach an audience that for this new age is unreachable right now because as much as I'm on my phone or on the computer, the generation right under me is 10 times more on their phone, on the computer, on the Xbox, on there. So you're gonna reach a generation of young adults right now, but a generation of people that aren't gonna go outside of their house to go to church.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You should probably, if you're listening, you should probably get a little bit of sunlight, man.
Yeah,
like,
get
a little
man.
sunlight,
I got it. That, and that is not. My fear right now is that the generation that the 9 or 10-year-olds right now, I'm not worried about them hitting the streets and selling drugs and stealing cars. I'm worried about them stuck in their room, going through depression by themselves, on their phone, on their Xbox, talking to some guy way in Mississippi that you know what I mean.
Jeez,
that's one of the biggest things, and I didn't realize that until my kids start coming of age.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I think it really hit us during 2020.
Yeah,
because all the kids were locked down.
Yeah.
Before that, all the kids used to get together, play.
Yep, out in the street.
2020, it's like, nope,
exactly.
You can't do that anymore. And even when they let them go back to school, it's like, no, keep your distance.
It's weird, 6
and
feet.
So I think
it isolated them, man.
Yeah, dude, and I think it brought a lot of those issues. And if you look at the statistics on it, it is depression skyrocketing.
Oh yeah, in kids, it's some crazy number in kids younger than 10, which is great. Like that was unheard of. You know what I mean? If I would have walked in the house back then and said, "Man, I'm feeling depressed," my mom would, "You ain't depressed. Get out there. Get out there and get on that bike. Go riding." And now it's really real, right? A 9-year-old being depressed is real. But think about this, and I didn't think about this till we started tutoring a few years back. There were kindergartners in 2020 that started school, went on spring break, and never went back to school until they were in almost second grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is crazy.
So all they know of schooling is on a tablet or an iPad. Yeah. And they're so underdeveloped, man. So underdeveloped.
Dude, I'm almost done. Well, I'm done with it if I don't keep adding, but I did a book and it's poetry, and a lot of it has to deal with pain, suffering, my own trials of pain and depression and all those things. And so I think, and I, for the longest time, I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I feel like it probably will help. Bless you. It probably will help some young generation.
Yeah,
somebody,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying, out there.
Yeah.
But I'm almost done with that, dude. I'm actually excited to release that. I just my wife's been looking over it, making sure I spelled everything. Going over the final details.
Yeah.
So but yeah, dude, it is real. As I started writing, I started thinking, and it brought all these statistics, and I started looking up, and dude, all these kids, man, it's just depression, anxiety. They get anxious about it. Dude, I see kids getting anxious about just texting somebody.
Yeah.
Or calling them.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, what is, like,
so,
why?
Yeah.
Why? Just call them up, you know? But it's these little things, and it's because I feel like it happened around 2020.
Yeah.
It's this isolation that they don't know how to react and connect anymore, except for on social media and different things. And it's crazy. And me, I got 3 girls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like very protective. I'm like, just try to keep them off of OnlyFans. That's my way. You know how they used to say, keep them off the pole back in the day? Now it's like, keep them off of OnlyFans. That's it. That's the goal.
I don't see your girls going that route, man. There's no way.
I've been blessed, man. And they've been good, and I've taught them that was the good thing that for me is that I got saved right as my first daughter, because I had my first daughter at 17, bro.
Yeah.
And so I got saved right around that time. Well, I think she was 3 years old when I got saved. And it was a good thing because she didn't see me being that evil person that I used to be.
Right.
She grew up seeing, a pretty good dad. I'm not perfect, but I try to. I asked God one of the things, because I didn't have a dad that was there.
Right.
Like, I had a dad, but he wasn't there.
Right. Yeah.
And so I had a stepdad. I never knew my real dad, but so I didn't really have that role. Me and my dad would never hug each other, never talk to each other.
Yeah.
Most of every week they would he'd be gone during the week working, and then he would come in on a Saturday and be like, "Hey, I'm going to Grand Canyon. Bye. Don't even invite me. Like, hey, man, I want to go to the Grand Canyon too." And so he was gone, right? So I didn't know how to be a role model, a father, and so I just asked God to teach me. You know, what is it like to be a father? And I started reading the Word and saw how God is a father to us, how He's loving and forgiving, and He doesn't really chastise us. He does correct us, but He doesn't yell at us and say, "Oh, you did this bad, you did this." Like, no. It's just like the prodigal son, right? He did all those bad things, but then when he came back to the father, the father was with open arms. You know what I'm saying? And so it just showed me how to be a father. God did, you know, the Bible did. And so, you know, like the Bible says, train your kids in the way that they should go. And when they get older, they won't depart from it. You know what I'm saying? They might sway a little bit, but if you have that foundation, they will always come back to God.
Right.
And like I've told my kids, I've told them this, and I made my kids cry because I told them, listen, there's going to be a day that I fail you. I'm human. I'm not always going to be 100% there for you.
Right.
So don't depend on me completely. Like I'll be there. I'm going to try my hardest.
Yeah.
But God is number one.
Yeah.
Depend on Him.
He won't fail.
You know what I'm saying? He never fails you.
Yeah.
He never leaves you. He never forsakes you.
Right.
So, but yeah, man. Anything else?
Nothing else for me, man.
Promote your all your websites and everything. Let them know where they can catch your produce if they want to buy something. Can they just order it online, or how does that work?
So yeah, so so it's azgrownathome.com, and it's set up as just like an Amazon. Put things in a cart. We get them shipped within 48 hours. The best thing going right now, the most bang for your buck, is the produce boxes. You'll get 6 or 7, depending on the season or what we harvest, type of produce. About $25. So that's azgrownathome.com for the website. Homegrown Buck for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Okay. And then on the nonprofit side, we got UDT on, I think UDT Buckeye maybe on TikTok. But if you just search up United Dance Team, we pop up. And then VCRC on all platforms. If you search that, we'll pop up. Or
VCRC,
Village Community and Recreation Center.
And that's the recreation center that you're doing in Buckeye.
In downtown Buckeye. Yes, man, sir.
That's some good stuff, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming by, stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Anything else you want to tell the people?
No, that's it.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Keep on doing it, and I'll get those websites and I'll put them on the links on the bottom of the this description.
Yeah,
that way people can go to it, click on it, and can find you.
Yes, sir. All
right. Once again, man, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Blessed for having you, man, and keep on doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. Buckeye appreciates it.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, brother. God bless, man.
All right, man.